mySociety is one of the most wonderful things to come out of the bottom-up democratic movement in the UK, and the UK is a shining light for the rest of the world. I mean, it is magnificent what's done, and I've used many of the tools of mySociety. I've used Write to Them on many occasions. So how many people have used Write to Them? Hey, wow! But it just makes the whole business of contacting your representative so much easier. And I've also used a lot of What Do They Know, FOI requests, and again, it's absolutely brilliant. It makes a difference between doing it and not doing it. Ubuntu was developed by Mark Shuttleworth. He made a lot of money out of it, and he's put some of the money to support people like me. Fellows are required to change the world, and that's what I am in the process of doing. We're going to liberate 100 million facts a year from the scientific literature, and we're going to put them in Wikipedia, or rather Wikidata. And we're working closely with Wikidata. There are about 1,000 new papers come out a day. We're building a crawler which is going to extract all these papers from the journals that we're entitled to read in Cambridge University. I am allowed to do it, according to the law, for non-commercial purposes. Elsevier says I can't because they can stop me doing it under the law. And we had a big public fight in London, verbal, with Elsevier, and we won on points on that one because they've sort of said, well, maybe okay. Springer are actually okay on this. And we're going live today. Again, I'd hoped Richard was going to be here, but we have sort of switched it on real soon now, and it might be now and it might be tomorrow, but it's that sort of timescale of things.
The thing that I work on, particularly on TheyWorkForYou, are the statements that we write on each MP's page about how they've voted. So it's really important to us that we are impartial and non-partisan. So one of the things we had to think about when we were doing this is how do we even decide which topics to cover? Because we could be accused of being partisan just by what we decide to draw attention to. So what we decided to do was we decided to follow what MPs themselves are particularly interested in. There are about 650 MPs in Parliament. They don't all turn up to every vote by any means. Some votes are much better attended than others. So we can use MPs' own attendance in votes as a way of giving them some kind of mention of ranking of importance. Everything that I do is available under an open license, so as long as you attribute where it's come from, you can use it and do what you like with it. And hopefully people will do stuff with it as we run into the election. So this will be the first time that we're going into a general election in this country where the sitting MPs' voting records are comprehensively, easily accessible to the electorate. A kind of complaint that we get from MPs is they say we've looked at, or parliamentarians in general, because we cover Lords as well, but they'll say, well, I've looked at my page on TheyWorkForYou, and it's not fair because it doesn't reflect what I think. And then I get to write a fantastic email back to them and say, no, it's not meant to reflect what you think, it reflects how you voted.
One of the things I was going to say very positively about mySociety, if you think about something like Fix My Street, you can see where that application has had a very positive influence on local government, on councils, in terms of how they manage their own. You think about potholes, well, there's all sorts of things wrong with it. You think about our own pothole reporting. The fact that something, and I remember, not really directly in my line of work, but I remember things like when Fix My Street came along, people going, hey, look at this, you can go online, you can report something, it arrives in my inbox and I have to go and respond to it. We can't do that on our website, but by and large, now we can. We can do a whole load of other stuff on county council websites and the local authority websites. So mySociety and applications like that have been really positive in terms of influencing local government behaviour and how we changed our own reporting systems, how we changed our own accountability. So the idea is that pressure will come from the great British public at a local level to hold public sector organisations to account. But again, in order to hold people to account, you need information. Rich has talked very clearly about information about voting patterns and stuff like that. And you also need access to some of the research figures, some of the information that I have available. Oh, I should have warned you about Jeremy Clarkson's sudden appearance. There is, when you say that, well, actually we're going to rely on the crowd to do all this accountability, there is this dialogue about can we trust members of the public? And when you work in government, you do have this, can we really trust members of the public to understand everything the way we do, where we've been working on a subject for many, many years? The funny thing, when petitions first went on Number 10, Number 10's website, and so many people signed a petition, then that triggers a debate in Parliament. One of the biggest things on the first week was, we want Jeremy Clarkson for Prime Minister. Is that a good thing? Probably not. No, probably, definitely not. But I'm being very facetious. But you have to ask there is this question about how much we trust the crowd. Professor Shepherd, who several years ago realised, because he was a medical professor, that he was looking at facial injuries, and people have been injured by having beer glasses shoved in their faces during fights. And he was recording meticulously the detail of these physical injuries and working out that if you change the composition of beer glass, change the glass composition of beer glass, you can drastically reduce the severity of the injury. And from it's a decent bit of research. Take that research to legislators. Legislation gets in position, and we change the composition of beer glasses, and probably hundreds and thousands of people have benefited from that piece of research work, because their injuries in pub fights haven't been so bad as they could have been. About this time last year, we were awarded £60,000 from the Local Government Association to do some work on establishing open data websites, and we've just been very recently awarded another 120k from the Cabinet Office to carry on that work. So that, if you like, we're getting support at a national level for the sort of work that we're doing, and the sort of line about trying to encourage openness and promote open data here in Cambridgeshire. We're getting national support for that.